Hello, 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 and welcome. My Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. I am back from Saratoga. If you've been watching the Super Chats, you know. you know. But if you are new to my channel, hi, I'm back. You have no idea why. I am your reader for the moment. Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and very happy to be back at it. I was burning out fast there, and then everything went on lockdown. Well, it depends on where you are, right? So the soulmate readings and the twin flame readings just didn't seem relevant, considering what was going on in the air. As an empath, it was a little hard to tune to the path of true love when you're feeling empathically everybody's everything, right? Pretty much everybody's everything. So I'm back, and let's get down to it. This is the last reading of this series, but you know what? I'm doing this the day that the sun goes into Aries. So happy birthday, my Aries sun signs, which means it is also vernal equinox, spring equinox, or how it will forever be known in my heart, Ostara. One of the high holy days in the pagan wheel of the year. One of the four everybody knows about. Everybody knows about the first day of the four external seasons, but what about the cross quarters, right? Imbolc, Beltane, Lughnasadh, and Samhain, right? Those are the ones they still mark with holidays, but they don't know. So very, very happy to be doing this on a Sabbath, and in a way, I think, poetic in some way, that I am starting this, my first official recorded reading, that's not a super chat or a live stream anywhere, with Aries. So thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because now that I'm back and recharged after seeing my family up in Saratoga, I'm going to be cranking out the very best and the very blessed work that I can. So this is your soulmate reading for now March-ish into April, but certainly timeless. Whenever you watch it is when you are supposed to see it. So it is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what does not. Go check your other signs. They are in my back catalog, as it were, on YouTube. The soulmate reads the way I do it, or maybe a little differently than what you're seeing around. There are two videos in the description box below explaining the definition that I work with, both my own video and one by Matt Kahn. You'll see them. They're pretty self-evident what they are down in there. As well as I also did a video of what I do to these cards before I hit the record button. So you might want to check that out too if you're ever interested about what my process is. But let's put it this way about soulmates. Soulmates are soul contracts, right? Things written into the name and the body that you as a soul were chosen to incarnate as in this life. Sort of the role, the actor, the character descriptions, and your relationships to other players in the script. It's a great way, it's a great metaphor to see it that way. This kind of soul contract, though, soulmate, is you're here to help each other heal, and you certainly have more than one, and they're certainly not all romantic sexual. My mother and I are soulmates, and we got to spend some time together, because, you know, we weren't really going anywhere, but I came up, I got a new car, they helped me pick out the right car for me, because you really don't want me. What kind of car do you want? A black one. Actually, this one I got a gray RAV4. His name is Dorian Gray. I'd show you a picture of him, but I'm afraid what would happen if I dropped it. So let's get into this gig, shall we? We're going to be looking at this as a contract, divine feminine, divine feminine, divine masculine, as ever on my channel. It has nothing to do with bodily gender. It has to do with energetic dynamic. Look it up, yin, yang, and all of that. So if you will focus on your breath, as will I, finding the little still moments in the heart where the divine always resides. Will get you the best clarity, guidance, and grace on this, and on your end you'll be able to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because you will be more tuned to your own intuitive guidance. Cool, cool. Oh, let's do this. I'm psyched. Here we go. Nice deep breath. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please bless this deck for the Aries collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs in their soulmate contracts for March, April, timeless, whenever they're supposed to see it, so that it makes sense to them. That, but I need 2 cards, right? I need 2 cards, one for the divine feminine and one for the divine masculine here in this Aries collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign soulmate contract. For March, April, timeless. There's our divine feminine and one for the divine masculine. Please, my gods, just put it right in my hands. I just felt a wave of energy go through. And my cats picked it up, and there was nothing going on outside my windows. That was just an empathic waves, because remember, felines, no feelings. No coincidence in the spelling there. Okay, so if you are new to my channel, you don't know about these Caroline Myss cards. I'm actually reading 6 different decks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different decks. I think it's like 17 cards total in the spread. But these in particular can be a little triggery. They have shadow and light on them because they are archetype cards. Archetypes are neutral. As beautiful as an archetype sounds in its light is as horrible as it is in its shadow. The same is true. As horrible as it sounds in its shadow, as magnificent as it is in its light. So, all right. Well, for Aries, we've got a very, very interesting couple here and a very powerful dynamic. I can feel it just in my hands. The divine feminine here is the beggar archetype and the divine masculine is the mystic. Now, don't freak out about the word beggar. There has a lot to do with compassion in it. It has a lot to do with being directed back inwards in terms of in prayer. It's, I think, a very, very sacred thing. Like, how many masters are disguised as homeless, but not just beggar that way. Like, we've all begged the gods or the angels for help, right? So there's a larger context on that, and that's what I mean by triggery, right? So now as I read the shadow side, look, I can understand people be like, the beggar, oh no. Like, if they define themselves or identify as the divine feminine, I understand that, but get that the soulmate contracts, you're helping each other heal this, and with the mystic, that totally sounds wonderful in its way, right? So the shadow attribute, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. And I think that is the toxic thing. Like when you see people who can walk, but they are determined that you carry them, right? And I don't just mean physically, I mean emotionally, mentally, spiritually, people who just have to go through that phase of not wanting to put effort into their own growth and development on any level. So dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. Now, the light attribute, this is what I'm talking about, this sacred scriptural aspect, because there have been beggars on this planet since there have been people. So you talk about an ancient archetype, right? The light attribute confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. That's the physical part of it. Awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Right now, think of that in terms of romantic relationships, because these soulmate contracts, these are the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, satisfying soulmate contracts. That's what these decks are charged for before I even hit the record button. So we've all begged for romantic whatever, satisfaction, experience, what have you. But can that elicit within you, can that awaken within you the authority of humility? Now think about that, the spiritual authority of humility. To me, humility is knowing that you don't know, but that you're willing to be shown. It is a shield against humiliation. And that's why people confuse humility and humiliation. They're not the same thing. In a way, they're the light and shadow of each other in that way. But there's a grace of humility. To me, it's one of the 3 gateway graces. It opens you to the other graces. Great maiden goddess, grant me the gateway grace of humility, to know that I do not know, but that I am willing to be shown that somehow there is a divine plan in all of this and what I have to do to fulfill it, right? Somehow I trust, right? That innocence. So it's such a powerful thing, humility, particularly when it's opposite hubris, which is really the opposite of humility. Toxic pride. Well, it was thundering around the planet at an almost unstoppable speed. I think it might have been put on pause for a little bit, but we shall see. Humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Compassion for yourself that everyone's doing the best that they can, right? So even in a romantic context, we've all been there. And anybody who says that they don't either hasn't experienced it yet in this life, really mastered it in another, or is lying to themselves and everyone else. So there we have it. Unless, you know, they've just never been on the path of romance in this life, the path of true love or any of that. And that makes sense. The mystic. I love the mystic archetype, but I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So we've got a divine feminine beggar and a divine masculine mystic, which is a lot of mamas. The shadow attribute, delusional rapport with the divine. You know, we have to go through them because the ego and the mind adopts not just spiritual but mystical language and uses it to keep us from evolving, right? Keeps us lost in illusions through delusion. I got a really good example. The ego took you create your own reality and turned it into the universe and the divine being a cosmic cash machine. And it's not, right? It's not like that. It's not about the gratification of the personality. It's not about the satisfaction of the ego, which is, by the way, never satisfied and needs to be loved and embraced. More, not less, right? It's like it needs to be healed through love because it is its opposite. It's carrying the shadow into the light. But to get that, everything here is for the development of the soul, that we heal, that we grow, that we become the best that we can be. So those delusional things, that's what I mean. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy because there are times where you really can't trust what you're hearing. Is this the voice of the divine or is it my shadow? Keeping in mind that the shadow is only doing that to get your attention so that it can be loved and embraced without acting on it, without it running your life, without being possessed by your shadow possession, so that you can heal. I'm a mystic. I could talk about this card alone for hours, and maybe some night on a super chat I will. The light attribute, however, is worth all of that and a side of fries. Revels in intimate union with the divine, which I have to tell you has been steadily healing me of my own romantic wounds, because once you can snuggle up to God, pick one, pick them all, or the angels, or the masters, and you feel that love, it's just really better than anything else that can be constructed, conjured, brought into our lives physically. Even though it's lovely to be touched physically, and it is a different kettle of fish, I guess you would say. It's a different genre of love and vibration, right? That intimate union with the divine. I mean, I could really become a monk, but I don't think there's an ashram anywhere that's ready for me in any way, shape, or form. So I've created my own here in Old Brook, Long Island. For now, let's see if the gods send me back out there. So, okay, we've got our divine feminine, our divine masculine, our beggar, and our mystic. If you're still not sure about which one you are, because maybe you resonate with both, if you haven't clicked off already, because that beggar is wicked triggery, I get it. We are going to take 5 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot to do fire, earth, air, water, spirit, the element spread for the divine feminine, and we're going to use the mythic tarot for the divine masculine, mystic, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. Breathe with me. Let's do this. We're on a roll. My goddesses, please. Top 5 cards. Hey, for this divine feminine beggar archetype. In this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic, satisfying soulmate contract for March, April, timeless, 2020, please. My angels, top 5 cards, just give me the signal when to cut. Thank you very much, my loves. Clean cut, please. Maiden. Nope. Mother. Crone. We had a straggler. That was not a but that means it wants to be top card, so it's the top card of fire. I'm just going to do the masculine now so that it's done, so that we can move forward and pull 2 at a time. This is the last reading, so if you've watched any of your other signs, you know how this rolls. I might keep this spread. We'll see what the gods want, you know. Here we go. My gods, please, top 5 cards, element spread for this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, rising Venus signs in there. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, satisfying soulmate contracts for March, April 2020 timeless. For this divine masculine mystic, please. Top 5 cards. There we go. I hear ya. Sun, Father, Sage. Lovely. Lovely. Oh, it's lovely. Let's rock. Here we go. Element of fire. What do they desire? What do they want? All right, the divine feminine's got the learner, and the divine masculine has the Queen of Swords. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the reasons I said that I had to take a break, even just I couldn't finish this last reading for the soulmate reads, is because the readings kept coming up. It's like, oh, they're in separation right now. Oh, they're not ready to meet each other, like over and over and over again. Like they might know each other, but they can't be together. And I think we know why. I'm not going to say why, but I think we know why, right? There are YouTube standards in place that I completely honor and respect, so I'm not even going to say the name of the thing that's going on, so I don't get demonetized. I worked hard to get monetized. I don't want to get shut off, right? So with that Queen of Swords, just starting there, I mean, it's the Aquarian card. What he wants is fixed air. This mystic wants to not just pull back, pull up, right? Get that larger point of view. Just speaking as a mystic, though I am predominantly divine feminine, that Aquarian place is wonderful. Now, if this divine feminine is an Aquarius, that's one thing. If there's a Aquarius placement for the divine masculine, that's another to look in there. But we're looking about how we interact with the world here, right? How does a mystic interact with the world? Their relationship with the world. That's where you get that humanitarian, global, like the internet is a very Aquarian thing. Revolutionize the world. It's rebellion. It's philanthropy. I love Aquarians. I've dated so many gay male Aquarians on this planet. It's ridiculous. Well, I'm Leo rising, so they're in my 7th house of Aquarius. So a natural draw there, except for the freaks of the zodiac, which can be a fun thing for at least for a weekend. So that thing with that intimate union of divine, it feels like that's what they really want right now. Again, they may not be together. I mean, unless you're hunkering down together. The divine feminine beggar wants the 8 of Pentacles, the learner. Now, not just the learner, more information, more data, but actually more of an experience, that wisdom that comes from watching somebody do something and walking you through it, doing yourself. Here's a weaver, a woman weaving blankets, and you can see her work in the background there, the crone teaching the maiden, right? So wants something, wants to learn, wants to grow, but in the physical world, definitely wants more capacity and capability. I think that's very, very cool. Let's see what's going on in their element of earth, what they have to get them what they want. Their element of fire, like this is my Ostara candle. I'll relight the next one, hopefully, from that flame. So what is the wax and wick element of earth that feeds the flame, or what they have to help them get what they desire? Don't you just love a visual aid? Okay. We'll get to that in a moment. Divine Feminine has 6 of Blades. So what she's got on in her element of earth to help her get what she wants. Interesting. 6 of Blades is about mental balance, right? So anything that manipulates the mind, even though this card is neutral, I'm really feeling that she's got the ability to pray, or she's got the ability to do hypnosis, or remember, I'm saying he or she, it's not about bodily gender, right? Therapy, counseling, communication skills, something there that beggar can really communicate and bring themselves into balance, even if that communication is within themselves through, for example, prayer. Because, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz is one form of prayer. It's called petitionary prayer. And it's one that we all learn. There's ritual prayer, repeating the same prayers over and over and over again for a meditative effect, right? There's also meditative prayer. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. There's colloquial prayer. Oh my God, please just get me there on time. Am I missing one? Really, I think the most important quantum prayer is what Greg Braden calls it. So that visualization, giving yourself the feeling of that, the emotion of that which is wanted, which signals to the soul, to signal to the universe, bring more experiences to keep this feeling going. Doesn't always mean you manifest exactly what you want, but you can see how when you worry, you do that, right? And what it does. So a real manipulation of the mind here, and it feels really good, particularly next to this Eight of Pentacles of wanting to learn something, the learner. Grace of humility, right? Know that you don't know. What's interesting is we've got the Queen of Pentacles here. Now, two queens, certainly these can represent people, right? But we're dealing with fixed energy here, right? We're dealing with fixed air, Aquarius, and fixed Earth, Taurus. And Taurus is about life values, the values that don't really change in your life. Well, maybe as you grow older, certain values do change. I mean, when you're a kid, you really, really value, I don't know, certain things. Those come and go. As you get older, you still value things, but those things change. But the value of honesty, the value of truth, the value of partnership, companionship, right? Honor, capability, wealth, of course, second house, Taurus, fixed Earth. It's going to be about durable goods, your home, your car, your health, your physical health. So whether or not these are representative of people who this mystic wants and who he has, these could certainly be aspects of their own self, not just through astrological placement, but from that humanitarian life value. I'm kind of getting that about this mystic. Feels very connected to the fifth dimensional unity consciousness thing, regardless of how they got there, whether it's through yoga or meditation or, you know, there's so many different ways to get there, and that's going to play itself out throughout the spectrum, but might not even be something that they would recognize themselves as being mystical. You know, they might just kind of have become that way. It happens, right? And it's going to happen for all of us eventually, naturally, but some of us are trying to ride that curve. What are they thinking? What's going on in the element of air? Well. Here we go. The Divine Feminine has her first major arcana card of the Emperor, which in this deck is Pan. So it's an amalgamation of the Emperor and the Hierophant, because they are similar. They're both divine masculine figures. This is one of the few, if only, divine masculine energies in this deck, except I think for one other in the card of the Lovers. This is about systems. This is about planning. This is about governing. This is about the divine yang, right? Putting things in order, taking action, actualizing. Like if you actually research the word actualize, it's such an interesting word, and how we use it, I think, differently than we realize. It's not just about manifestation. It's about sometimes taking a truth and acting on it. Like, how do you actualize the truth that you have? And with that part of they're just showing me again the Hierophant, that there are stages of growth, right? There are processes to go through, protocols, right? Things that you have, procedures, right? That a lot of papas there, like the Pope, he's got the Three of Cups on his mind, which says to me that these two know each other. Why? Because she's thinking about a divine masculine energy, and he's thinking about the Three of Cups in this deck, the wedding of Eros and Psyche in Greek mythology. One not sanctioned by the goddess of love, his mother, Aphrodite. So they were not allowed to look at each other, or Eros said, "Don't look at me." So they hadn't seen each other. They married each other without seeing each other, which I think says something completely different about where we are right now, but this is definitely a spirit marriage. Don't worry, it has a lovely ending. Can you do a spoiler of a Greek myth at this point in 2020? I don't think so. So they're definitely thinking about each other, and again, whether or not they've met, they're thinking of at least the archetypes and the feelings for this divine mystic. It feels like this mystic really has that intuitive, mystical thing of being able to tune themselves. Very, very, very interesting. Let's see what's going on, element of water. What are they feeling? Well, it's a great spread. You guys kind of lucked out. Divine Feminine is thinking Shakti, the life dancer, about really completing one area of her life. It is the card of the universe or the world for the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, but do look up the goddess Shakti, because That's a rabbit hole that will make this reading so very long if I do that, and I'm just not going to do that today. But absolutely, this is, her emotions are coming to an end of a cycle and the beginning of another one, and it feels like a happy end of a cycle, particularly because she wants to learn. She wants this wisdom. She wants this ingrained within her, and she's doing the mental work for it, and she's thinking about this divine masculine as part of all of this, and is really, I'm thinking, feeling very fine, at least on the subject of this divine masculine. But what I love here, he's thinking the Six of Swords, the Six of Blades. So what he's thinking, she's got. So that's really cool. And, well, no, sorry, he's feeling this in his element of water and thinking about her. This is very holographic and really, really cool. I'm glad, I hope you're glad that I went and saved the best for last. Playing songs in my head all day. Oh, the garbage man is here. I'm gonna wait until this passes. Be right back. Magic clap. Welcome to Holbrook, Long Island. When the garbage comes whenever it wants. Okay, stick on a schedule, guys. You're driving me nuts. Blessed be, though. Blessed be all the workers doing their work out there. Good gods. Bless them, bless them, bless them. Well, you know what? We've got that beautiful Six of Swords in his element of air and that Six of Blades in her earth. In his element of water. So he is really feeling her. This mystic feels like, I don't want to come right out and say superhero. That's a weird thing to say. But, you know, mystical powers are just that mystical. They're unexplainable. Very Doctor Strange, you know. Very Zatanna. Very Justice League Dark, which I would be a member of if they would take me, if they exist. You know, field agent. Who never leaves the house. Anyway, keep going. Last card down, the position of spirit. What is the voice or the point of view of the soul on all of this, since this is a soul contract? Six of Pentacles, success under handicap, that even though, yes, she has been, the soul is saying, even though, my darling, my divine feminine beggar, that you have been under handicap, you are on your way, you've got a momentum. This is like a Special Olympics wheelchair race, that anybody who's in the race is a winner, right? You can feel the compassion and the love there. So in terms of manifesting her own success, it's not just... Yes, and it is an earth card, considering she wants to learn. She's going to... It's like her soul is saying to her, honey, you're going to get what you want here. Just keep going. You're fine. But you're at a 6. You're not quite at a 10, because she wants to get to the 8. So just wonderful. A really good feeling for this divine feminine beggar. Really digging her a lot. For him, he's got the card of the sun, that his soul is talking about enlightenment here, the god Apollo, the god of healing, the god of prophecy, and it feels like there's, if not a prophetic quality here, definitely a mystical intuitive, right? Like there's something going on here with this divine masculine where he's feeling Six of Swords, what she's got, Six of Blades. She's got that Six of Pentacles in terms of that moving forward in the soul. He's got the card of Apollo, the god of success in many ways, but also that mystical light that sheds clarity, like not just clairaudience, it's all the clairs, it's clairsentience, it's clairaudience, it's clairvoyance, it's, there are a bunch of them, we just call them the clairs. Sort of like the Heathers, but slightly deeper. So lovely, 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 lovely read. Let's keep going. If you're not sure who you are yet, really, these feel like two very different people, but very interconnected. And it doesn't mean that you've met in the physical yet. And considering where we are, you might not for a while, but there's an attunement. Wouldn't it make sense that they're pulling us all away from each other so that when we can, bam, come together like that? How much you want to bet? I don't want to bet money, but that feels like something the divine plan would do, right? All right, here we go. 2 cards. From the Healing Angels Oracle, Doreen Virtue. 1 card each. Breathe. My angels, please, 2 cards. 1 for this divine feminine beggar, 1 for this divine masculine mystic. In this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, satisfying, happy, healthy, wealthy, why sexual, intimate, romantic, soulmate, contract for March, April 2020, or timeless, please. One for the divine feminine, face down, thank you. And one for the divine, ooh, masculine, face down. There we go, Z. Josie. Trust and emergence. Wow. So the angel that walks with them, these are the healing with the angels oracle. Well, what's the healing going on with these angels? You could say the angel that walks with her is the angel of trust, right? Let's go back to awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. So self-esteem being a noun, not a verb, not a noun, because you can't get self-esteem. It's an action, right? You estimate yourself. To that place of trust. It's like, well, I of my own or not of my own volition, here is where I am. She's feeling good. This might all be because she is trusting in something higher. I get that vibe with these two. This is very soulmatey. And he's got that card of emergence, that something that has always been within is emerging from within him. And with the card of the sun there, the light. And with these two queens here, that what he wants is that Queen of Swords, right? Wants that friendly, like Aquarians, they're the freaks of the zodiac, but they're also your friends, right? They can be very unconditionally accepting, unconditionally loving. That's more of a water element there, but considering we've got a fire sign here with this Aries, not seeing any fire anywhere here yet. And that's it for the elemental cards of the tarot. But so what's emerging from within them really feels more about the soul of what's going on. But I do feel like with that egalitarian desire, with the life values of the Queen of Pentacles, which might mean that he's, you know, has the money, like he has the physical resources, those fixed goods, the wealth, the abundance financially. So working with this beggar archetype in a soul contract that they can help each other heal is pretty fucking awesome. And not just the accounts, right? It's like this is on a soul level, but particularly for a mystic, you know. So very, very interesting thread. We've got 3 more cards to go. The voices of your higher selves through the Whispers of Love Oracle, and then I'll pull you a Matt Kahn healing mantra for the whole thing. So just 3 more. Nice deep breath. The higher self collective, the higher self of all involved, please. 2 cards. 2 Whisper of Love Oracle cards, 1 for the Divine Feminine and 1 for the Divine Masculine. In this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, satisfying, intimate, romantic, sexual, soulmate, contract for March, April 2020, or timeless. 1 for the Divine Feminine, please. Yep, that's 1. And 1 for the Divine Masculine, if you would be so kind. Thank you, higher selves of all involved. Now, I love these cards. Sometimes they just come out right between the eyes and say, do this! I don't tell people what to do. But the cards have writing on them, so we're just going to go, I'm just going to say what they say. Woo! For the Divine Feminine, physical touch is important. For some of us, nothing is more important than a tender touch. This might include a pat on the back or to give a hug to someone who needs it. In our current circumstances, that might not be possible. You know why. I'm really watching that Facebook guideline like a fucking hawk. I'm allowed to say fucking, but I will not demonetize myself deliberately if I can avoid it, right? So there's something really here, and with this Queen of Pentacles Taurus there, that there is very much that physical sensual. There might be some earth planets in here. What are the chances it wouldn't be? But being that we're looking at an Aries here, there is something physical in terms of the passion here. And it feels like it might not be the beggar who's so much the beggar, the Divine Feminine beggar archetype that's begging for physical touch. I really get the feeling it's like that's her gift. Like that's her skill. Not in a prostitute-y way, but in that, you know, like some people, you know how some people just can't rub a shoulder to save their lives, right? Right? Or they break your bones, right? Just someone who can even just touch you and just like, do that. It feels like that's part of her skill set, or just part of her energy field, or just part of what she does naturally, right? What's the divine masculine? God, the Don Henley card, the heart of the matter. There is more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about, which is sort of the life of a mystic. Yeah, there's always something deeper going on. There's meanings and purposes within meanings and purposes, and forget about reason. When you're a mystic, reason doesn't even get on the board eventually, because it's all about divine purpose. The gods don't truck in human reason, they truck in divine purpose, right? So getting to the heart of the matter here, it does feel like they are separated. I mean, aside just from, you know, whatever, but that she may be feeling the urge to reach out and touch someone, and he sort of being directed inward as a divine masculine to get to the heart of the matter, not just within the situation, but within themselves, because really the voice of the soul, what's at the heart of the matter, is the card of the sun, Apollo, prophecy, healing, the arts, and the most positive card in the deck. Lovely spread, guys, really. I'm glad I'm not glad we waited. I wish I wouldn't. I wish all this other stuff hadn't happened. It really changed the vibe on everything. I think all of us can agree we wish this didn't happen, but somehow I don't know how, that all of this is going to work out and make us better. Let's ask the Ascended Masters about you and your contract. Nice deep breath. Oh, so much better. My Ascended Masters of Soulmate contracts, please, just one card in clarity, the perfect healing mantra for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Satisfying, sexual, intimate, romantic, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, soulmate contract for March, April 2020 are timeless, please. My Masters of Soulmate contracts, the perfect mantra for these two, which feel lovely. These two feel lovely. And I think that's been consistent throughout the readings too. It's like every one, it's been like, oh, I really, really like these people. I really, really like these people. So one side of this card is the mantra, the other the name of the mantra, and I use the name of the mantra to look it up in the bookie book, because there's not the bookie book, as I like to call it, because there's nothing else written on these cards. Exploring unity consciousness. Holy crap, holy. The fifth dimensional aspect, right? The higher self. Exploring unity consciousness. To me, the higher selves are the versions of ourselves, fifth dimension and above, right? I am one eternal light appearing as all. Come here. I am one eternal light appearing as all. For a mystic, just keep chanting. And for the divine feminine beggar here, I am one eternal light appearing as all, exploring unity consciousness. Doesn't matter which one you are. This is you're going to help each other heal, particularly because you're working through unity consciousness. That's sort of very, very that, as the kids like to say. Exploring unity consciousness. I am one eternal light appearing as all. Isn't it fun, as you get older, you have to keep like pulling back? You got to do the Aquarian thing. Here we go. When unity consciousness is explored, you are able to sense a connection that unites all hearts. Aww. No matter how unique each person seems to be, particularly if they're an Aquarian mystic, Aquarian mystic, if they're an Aries mystic with an Aquarian bend, yeah, it could be. In unity, there is a willingness to accept the differences that make each of us unique, while embracing the great cosmic web of interconnectivity throughout all time and space, right? It's like, yeah, we're all different manifestations of the one same thing. The quark, the subatomic particle, the quantum field, the one light, the one begotten Son of God. That's all of us together as one. The hidden children of the gods, you name it, whatever. The angels walking the earth, angels incarnate. I've studied all of that, not fully altogether, because who the hell could? In exploring unity consciousness, you are not a person in search of the light. You are the light dressed up as a person along your soul's journey. And I think this is what we're dealing with right now across the planet for those who are willing to tune into that, right? It's not that we're all interconnected, we're all one thing. This mantra is ideal for amplifying presence, so key right now. Grounding your energy and deepening meditation. Yeah, it feels like these two are isolated from each other. Gee, I can't imagine how that could have happened. But that they really can be connected to each other because they are in each other's energy fields. It's just obvious, and let's do that through an overview. Magic clap. Because we start out with this divine feminine beggar archetype in the shadow, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. And I'm going to say that with that Shakti card in her emotional field, her element of water, that's pretty much been washed away and healed. If she's moving into the light attribute, confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Really feeling her in that place, particularly because she's in the Eight of Pentacles, the learner in her position of fire. She wants to learn, she wants to grow, she wants to heal, she wants to be able to depend on her own self and her own spirit, especially with that card Trust in the center there from the angels. And what she's got right now doing this is that Six of Blades, the manipulation of air. The word manipulation is written on the card, so it's manipulating the mind, communication, meditation, mental health, mental balance, affirmations, mantras, all that kind of stuff. So she's doing the work to bring herself into alignment. You know, maybe she's out of work right now. I couldn't imagine why. So what's on her mind? This divine masculine. Now, I am getting that this could be about her getting her life together too, that she's focusing on being more active, more divine masculine, because we all have both divine masculine and divine feminine energies. We are that, in other words, not we have them, we are that. So, you know, perhaps thinking about that, her own processes, her own procedures, her own protocols of how she's getting things done, and the stages of that. But keep in mind, she's got two major arcana cards. The next one is Shakti, the life dancer, the card of the world. So if the card pan really is an amalgamation of the Emperor and the Hierophant, and then with the card of the world, she kind of has three major arcana cards here. So that spiritual authority that we're talking about there, that is the Emperor, that is the Hierophant, and that is certainly Shakti, the life dancer. So with the message of the soul being the Six of Pentacles, success, considering she's got the Six of Blades in her element of earth, it feels like her success is scripted and assured, but can she trust that? With the message from her higher self, physical touch is important. For some of us, nothing is more important than a tender touch. This might include a pat on the back or giving a hug to someone who needs it. Now, considering again our situation, that might not be the wisest thing to do, but it does feel like that's her skill, that's her gift. Like there might be something, a very comforting presence, someone who can just like hold your hand or just put their hand on your shoulder, and there is a transmission of energy that goes down anyway, but perhaps she really has that grace of humility in her to bring relief through touch. Jumping over to this divine masculine mystic, we've got the shadow attribute, delusional rapport with the divine. You know, I gotta say, with Apollo right under that, the god of clarity, that I'm not getting that. I'm feeling he's definitely doing more of the light attribute, revels in intimate union with the divine, though may not consider himself a mystic. Few people do. People go, ooh, mystical, until they see what's actually involved, and then they're like, no, hard pass, swipe left, right? Correct? I mean, left, right? Because what has he got here in his element of fire? He's got the Queen of Swords, right? The Aquarian card. Wanting to be fair, wanting to be just, fixed air, but pulling back and seeing the larger picture. More humanitarian, more egalitarian, more wanting to help, particularly dealing with a divine feminine beggar, but perhaps more wanting to do this from a more mental place, right? A more place of a strategy or positive thinking or through prayer, meditation. With what he's got is the Queen of Pentacles there, the Taurus card. So there's definitely some wealth going on here, whether that's wealth of experience, wealth of goods, things, but fixed goods, homes, perhaps even money and financial value there. And wanting very much in that element of fire to be of help with that Queen of Swords, but in a just, balanced way, right? In a humanitarian way, but perhaps in a distant way, probably because they can't be in the same space together right now. in his thoughts is the Three of Cups. I feel like he's either thinking about this emotional bond that they've met before, maybe they're communicating online, maybe they know each other and they just can't be together, or maybe they've already initiated something together. But she is definitely on his mind, or at least the feelings of this, unless he's really doing the meditation and the visualization to, like I said, indirectly manifest, right? To create those feelings within the self, to signal to the soul. More of this, please, and the soul interweaving that, bringing in the quantum probabilities to do just that. And what's in his emotional field is the Six of Swords, and she's got the Six of Blades. Again, a lovely reflex from the masculine to the feminine and back again. So he is feeling that mental balance, that his emotions are being harmonized. Sixes are about harmony and balance through the mind, but I also feel like she is contributing to that in that fifth dimensional unity consciousness thing. So the work that she's doing is affecting him emotionally, and I feel vice versa. This is really lovely, considering that at the soul position, spirit at the top of the pentacle there, we've got Apollo, the god of healing, and the sun. And these two are helping each other heal, particularly with success and the sun, respectively, in the spirit and soul positions here. Very, very beautiful. Beautiful combo here, and his the angel that walks with him again is the angel of emerging. So this might all just be coming out in this person now, or certainly a good chunk of the collective. But definitely this light, this sun, this stuff is definitely coming to the surface within this mystic. And therefore, the higher self is saying, get to the heart of the matter. There's more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about. Saying that, the gods are showering them with clues, but we have to look within as well as without, and that takes skill. And practice and repetition is the mother of skill. So what's the to help either one of them and or both? Exploring unity consciousness. I am one eternal light appearing as all, because we all are, but that is certainly going to, let's say, grease the tracks to bring these two together, and might actually speed up the healing for each and every one of us in the collective, regardless of zodiacal sign, of for the well-being of all. Worth the wait? You tell me. This is really good. This is a really, really lovely reading. You saw it's not like I stacked the deck. But I love this for you, Aries, collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus signs in your soulmate contract. So let me give you the blessing. May the Aries collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus signs be blessed in their soulmate contracts, their happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, satisfying soulmate contracts for March, April 2020, or timeless, whether they can be in physical proximity or not. May the angels, the gods, the goddesses, the masters, and the higher selves do all that they can to bring these two closer and closer together for their own healing, for their own fulfillment, but also for the healing of all involved, and for the fulfillment of the divine plan for the well-being of all. May they be so blessed. Thank you, my pantheons. So mote it be. And so it is. Happy birthday, my Aries sun signs. Blessed O star of vernal equinox, first day of spring. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed. And if you've hung out all this time, I know, a long reading, but I wanted to make sure I gave you the best that I could on this one. Kind of leave it on the dance floor, the tarot table, whatever it is, I'm leaving it here. So as ever, signing off, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of all of this. Stay safe. Stay well. Tune in. We're all in this together. I love you. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.